Hello friends, in this video I am going to discuss Ode Intimation of Immortality from Recollection of Early Childhood by Wordsworth, right? So I'll discuss line by line analysis of this poem. So let's begin. First, let me give you an overview of this ode. So ode is a lyrical poem typically in the form of an address. Yes, it is an address to a particular thing, right? And in this ode he just addressed to readers who are unconscious of the nature, right? So his major focus is to build the connection to the nature, right? So this poem is split into three movements. You can say the first four stanza that discusses a lost vision, right? The celestial light, inability to see the divine glory of nature, which is the problem of the poem. And second, for the fourth stanza, he describes how age causes him to lose the sight of that divine, the celestial light. And in last three stanzas, he is hopeful note, give a hopeful note. The memory of divines allow him to sympathize with our fellow men and positive response to a problem, right? So he starts with the memory of past when he moves towards the lost and laments and later moves to positive attitude. So this is our view of the poem. So we'll begin by the first stanza, right? So these first initial lines, they are an epigram. You can say epigram, a short quotation or short lines which are not part of this poem but quoted from some other work, right? He just quoted these words, the first third three lines, right? He quoted from one of his work, My Heart Leaps Up, right? So he says that the child is a father of men, and I could wish my days to be bound each to each by natural piety, right? So very important sentence is their child is a teacher, father of men, which means that child is a teacher of men, right? He emphasized on child, right? According to him, child is someone who is very close to nature, who is innocent, who is right, because he is not corrupted. The child is not corrupted, and the adults, they are corrupted by society, right? And remembering his childhood memories, right, connection, he just remember that in childhood how he has a close connection with nature, right? So this is a paradox statement. That paradox is something that is contradictory but actually true, right? So we'll begin the first stanza, we'll move on, right? There he says that there was a time when meadows grow and stream, the earth and every common sight to me didn't seem apparel in celestial light, the glory, the freshness of dream. It's not now as it had been of yore, turn wherever I may, by night to day, the things which I have seen I now can see no more. So this is the first stanza where he says that the speakers, he just declares that once nature appeared mystical to him and it was like a dream now, and that the feeling has disappeared now, and it says that for all his attempts he can't see the things in manner he used to see in his childhood, right? So here the poet Wordsworth, he laments on not being able to see anymore the glory, the freshness, right, of that nature that his childhood had seen, right? So here the celestial light refers to the divine light, connection with divinity, right? And he laments on his past, spiritual connection with nature has been lost. This is first stanza, and we'll move to second stanza. It goes like this: The rainbow comes and goes, and lovely it is the rose. The moon doth with delight look round her when the heavens are bare. Waters on starry night are beautiful and fair. The sunshine is a glorious birth, yet I know where I go, that there hath passed away a glory from earth. Right? In second stanza, here you can see the capital letters for rainbow, rose, moon, right? Because you see in romantic poetry they just glorify commonplace objects, right? So this is because of pantheism as well, right? Because they are nature, they are part of nature. So nature is all for Wordsworth and other romantic poets, so they emphasize on nature. So in second stanza the speakers confess that through the nature objects such as rainbow, rose and moon and the sun are still visible to him, and he accepts that they are still beautiful. There is definitely something missing within him, and he is just lamenting, seems gloomy, like, right? And in third stanza he says, now while the birds sing a joyous song, and while the young lambs bound as to tabor's sound, to me alone there came a thought of grief. A timely utterance gave that thought relief, and I again am strong. The cataracts blow their trumpets from the steep. No more shall grief of mine this season's wrong. I heard the echoes through the mountains wrong. The winds came to me through the fields of sleep, and all the earth is gay. Land and sea give themselves up to jollity, and with the heart of May doth every breast keep holiday. Thou child of joy, shout round me, let me hear thy shouts, thou happy shepherd boy. Right? So here he is referring to nature, right? That how pleasant nature is, and he is just old age, he is at old age now, and the celestial light is diminished, connection with nature is lost, losing, right? And he is surrounded by nature, beautiful nature, right? The tabor sound, right? The drums, and then cataract, the waterfalls, the beauty of nature, right? Referring to outside world which is influence your inside world as well. He said that all the earth is gay, all other people are happy except me, I'm not happy, he said. And heart of my refers to spring. Spring, refers to new life, rebirth, happiness, right? So he says that the speaker says that the singing of the birds, jumping of the lambs sadden him. However, he says that he is determined not to depress, because he will because it will spoil the beauty of nature, right? The nature is very beautiful in this spring season, and he asserts that the whole earth is happy, and inspired the shepherd boy to shout, and speaker is in grief. So he used the shepherd boy, right? Because shepherd is something, someone who is very close to nature, right? So he is happy, close to nature, grazing his animals and all of these, right? So in stanza 4 he says that, ye blessed creatures, I have heard the call, ye to each other make I see, the heavens laugh with you in your jubilee, my heart is at your festival, my head hath is coronal, the fullness of your bliss I feel it all. Oh evil day, if I were sullen, while earth herself is adorning this sweet morning, right? And he goes on, and the children are culling on every side in a thousand valleys, far and wide, fresh flowers while the sun shines warm, and the babe lives up on his mother's arm. I hear, with joy I hear, but there is a tree of more, many one, a single field which I have looked upon. Both of them speak of something that is gone. The pansy at my feet, doth this same tale repeat? Withers it fleet, the visionary gleam? Where is it now, the glory and the dream? Right. So what he is saying in this stanza, he just refers to other blessed creatures, the natural creatures, the animals, right? uh, they are part of nature, you see, and he is surrounded by spring. Everything is joyous, and he declares that it is impossible to feel sad in such a beauty, such spring where everything is so beautiful and joyous. But I am sad, right? And he just mourning with children playing in spring. How beautiful is this scene. Just he asked himself, what has happened to nature, what has happened to my inner nature? Why am I gloomy where everything is so beautiful and cherished, right? So the meaning of difficult words I've written there, you can see that, right? Sullen in nature, adorning, decorate, and many more, right? So romantic writers, they emphasize on children, right? Because children are close to nature, innocent and not corrupted, right? And he said that children are culling, children are part of nature, because he himself lost the connection with nature. And he just declares that it would not be right if he remain aloof in such spring season, and he continues to be a part of delight of this season. And in spite of sharing the joy of season, he says that when he sees a tree, a field, and pansy at his feet, he again feels that something is wrong, something is not right within, and he does not find the shine of the visions and does not see any glory, right? And in fifth stanza he says, our birth is but asleep and forgetting. This is very important line, and the soul that rises with us, our life star, had had elsewhere its setting, and cometh far afar, not in entire forgetfulness, not in utter nakedness, but trailing clouds of glory do we come from God, who is our home. Heaven lies about us in our fancy. In fancy, shades of the prison house began to close upon the growing boy, but he beholds the light, and whence it flows, he sees in his joy the youth who daily farther from the east must travel still in nature breeze, and by the vision splendid is on his way attended. At length the man perceives it die away and fade into light of common day, right? So what he tried to say that he's saying that our birth is but asleep and forgetting, right? So he said that humans are asleep and forget important things, that in nature there is nature, right? As an infant we have a memory of heaven. Okay, he just tried to build the connection between the heaven and human beings, that our soul came from heaven, right? And once we came from heaven, and now we are losing that connection to heaven, memory of heaven, we grow, we lost that connection, right? So that our soul, he just emphasized on the importance of soul is very important, that is immortal, that rises us, that came from heaven, that is our life star, means that guide us, right? So, and then he refers to aging process. As we grow old, we lost that connection, right? And in infancy we are close to nature, in childhood, in infancy, right? And then he says that prison house began to close. Here he refers to prison house as to body, right? The body and soul connection, the body which is the prison house for the soul, and soul entrapped in that prison house, right? And then nature priest refers to nature itself. And so he emphasizes, right? He says that our part sleep or forgetting, that right, the same thing, connection with nature has been lost, that was very strong in childhood, right? And then in sixth stanza he says, earth fills her lap with pleasures of her own, yearning she had in her own natural kind, and even with something of a mother's mind. And no unworthy aim, the homely nurse doth all she can to make her foster child, her inmate man, forget the glories he had known, and that imperial palace whence he came, right? So in this stanza he says that here he refers to earth as she, a feminine quality of the earth, mother earth, right? So earth is personified as a woman, right? And he's saying that the homeliness means the nature, the mother earth, right? And he says that the speakers turn philosophical and says that soon after our arrival on this earth, everything around us conspires us to forget us about the place once we came from, and that is the heaven, right? We get corrupted in this world and lose connection with the heaven or the celestial light with nature, right? And then he says that humans as foster child of nature, right? And we just get to earth, everything conspires us and making us corrupt, right? He just lament on that, right? And in stanza 7 he says, behold the child among his newborn places, a 6 years darling of the pygmy size. See where mid work of his own hand he lies, frittered by sallies of his mother's kisses, with light upon him from his father's eyes. Sees at his feet some little plain or chart, some fragment from his dream of human life, shaped by himself with newly young art, a wedding or a festival, a mourning or funeral, and this had now his heart, right? His heart. And then unto this he frames his song, then will he fit his tongue the dialogues of business, love, and strive, but it will not be long ere this be thrown aside, and with new joy and pride the little actor cons another part, and filling from time to time his humorous stage with all the persons down to pulsed age that life brings with her in her equipage, as if his whole vocation were endless imitation, right? Now we'll see line by line analysis of this seventh stanza, where he says that behold, see the child among his newborn places, right? And he's referring to a 6 years old small boy, right? How he close to nature, see how blissful he is, right? And then he is moving on by emphasizing on that we are shaped some fragments from his dream of human life, shaped by himself with newly learned art. So newly learned art here refers to materialism, materialistic hobbies and experiences which we gain from outside world as we grow old, right? As we grow older and get corrupted by this materialism. And then he's saying that he's just mourning a funeral, mourn on what has gone, right? And soul versus body, let it. So he just said that appearances are deceitful, right? What appears is not the reality, and unto this he frame his songs, right? The childhood song, the beautiful beauty of nature and beauty of childhood, right? Then will he lift his tongue and then he'll say a little extra. Little extra here refers to child, right? Little extra cons another part. So as we grow old, we adopt different parts in life, right? New situation and circumstances to fit ourselves in. He adopt a different role in stage, right? As Shakespeare says that all this world is a stage and we are mere players, right? So we play our part. It's just like a drama of real life, right? And humorous stage here refers to, it's an old concept that human beings are made up of four humors or the glands, you can say, and they secrete in a balanced manner to maintain life, right? And then pulsate age refers to old age. He says that I am now in old age and all these memories of childhoods are left, right? And that life brings with her in her equipage, right? So it was life that now brings the courage of death to me, right? Old age and its whole vacation joys, it's all over now, right? And there was a childhood when we used to imitate, it's all over. And now in stanza 8 he says, thou whose exterior semblance doth belie thy soul's immensity, thou best philosopher who yet doth keep thy heritage, thou eye among the blind, that deaf and silent, readers the eternal deep, haunted for ever by eternal mind. Mighty prophet, seer blessed, on whom those truths do rest, which we are toiling all our lives to find in darkness lost, the darkness of grave, thou our womb, thy immortality. Broads like the day, a master's our slave, a presence which is not to be put by, thou little child, yet glorious in the might of heaven-born freedom on thy being height. Why with such earnest pains dost thou provoke the years to bring the inevitable yoke? Thus blindly with thy blessedness at strive, full soon thy soul shall have her earthly freight, and custom lie upon thee with a weight, a heavy as frost and deep almost as life, right? So here he just says that thou whose exterior semblance doth belie. So he's just emphasizing on that appearance are deceitful. What it's like in appearance is not their reality. External looks didn't justify your soul, right? Because your soul is at higher level than your age, right? And he just emphasized then a child's soul is at very pure and higher stage, right? And then the adult one, and they are close to divinity, close to nature, right? And he said that the best philosopher, here he refers to child again, that child is the best philosopher. He's close to nature, he is pure, he knows more, right? And he says that heritage, right? Divinity is the heritage of child, right? Whereas the rest of people, the elder people, they are just, he just considered them blind, right? Rest of people are blind, but the child has a vision, right? Divinity, heritage, and his innocence and purity, right? And further he's saying that darkness lost. Here he refers to darkness refers to materialism, and he says that we lost our vision in darkness, materialism in worldly pleasures, and God's eye, right? Immortality of soul. He's talking about immortality of soul. And masters or slave, he just refers to body and soul relation, that the soul is the master and body is the slave, right? And he just talk about the God's influence and glory of soul, and God's eye or a shadow is on yours. He is seeing you. God, pantheism, God is all. And with glowing age we lost that glory and uh, no ability and become corrupt, right? And further he says that, right, he says that you are at higher stage and purest. He is referring to child, that child is at higher stage and purest form. And why you are worried or take burden or troubling, what's troubling you? He's referring to child, that addressing to child, that what's bothering you, child? You are at higher stage, purest form, and you must not worry about these things, this materialism and other corrupted things, right? And further in stanza 9 he says that, "O joy that in our embers is something that doth live, that nature yet remembers what was so fugitive, the thought of our past years in me doth breed perpetual benediction, not indeed for that which is most worthy to be blessed, delight and liberty, the simple creed of childhood, whether busy or at rest, with new fledged hope still fluttering in his breast. Not for thee I raise the song of thanks and praise, but for those obstinate questioning of sense and outward things, falling from us, vanishing, blank misgiving of creature moving about in worlds not realize, high instinct before which our mortal nature did tremble like a guilty thing surprise." Right? It's a very long, it seems a very long stanza, right? So just we divide it, and right, so here he refers to, he says that, "Oh joy," right? "Oh joy," he again refers to this celestial light or joy that are embers. He says that the embers, the coals, the ember is the coal that still has the spark. So he said that in us the spark is still within us, and that needs motivation to just ignite and to catch fire, right? And so he said that the joy that we have in childhood has diminished as we grow old, and childhood ends very quickly. What was so fugitive? He says that childhood is just very short time and it ends very quickly. And perpetual benedictions refers to the blessings that we have, the lucky, how lucky and blessing we are at childhood, right? And with new flesh hope refer to newborn hope, right? Newborn hope and the optimism that we have got in childhood still fluttering in his breast, in his heart, right? The song of thanks and praise, but for those obstinate questions, the rude questions, the difficulties, hard times of life, right? That challenges you of senses and outward things, the materialism and others evil, like, so this create blank misgivings, create doubts in your personality, and inclines towards corruption and cruelty, right? So wait for a while, it just okay. So he is referring to childhood memories, and it gets zoomed. Wait for a while, right? Yes. So here he goes that, but for those first affections, those shadowy recollections, which be they what they may, are yet the fountain's light of all our day, are yet a master light of all our seeing, uphold us, cherish, and have power to make our noisy ears seems movement in being, of eternal silence, truth that wake to perish never, with neither listlessness nor mad endeavor, nor man nor boy, nor all that is at enmity with joy, can utterly abolish and destroy. Hence, in season of calm weather, thou inland, for we be our souls have sight of that immortal sea which brought us hither, can in moment travel hither, thither, sees the childhood spot upon the shore, and hear the mighty waters rolling evermore. So here he says that we have lost of all that childhood affection, the love and the happiness and the merriment, cheerfulness, right? And the shadowy recollections refer to the memories of the childhood, right? Just only the recollection and the memories are left, right? And all other things are over now, and yet the fountain light is the source of knowledge, right? He just refers to celestial light, source of light and source of knowledge, the fountain light, right? And yes, master light of all our seeing. So that celestial light, that master light is guiding us, the guiding light. And then noisy ears refers to industrial revolution, that industry makes on noise, right? The noise pollution, materialism is that it suppress the just this noise just suppress the singing of the birds, the beauty of nature, the sounds of nature are just hindered behind this noisy materialism, or noisy, what you call industrial revolution also refers to, right? And eternal silence, truth that we wake, ultimate, talking about ultimate truth which are never perish. And the ultimate truth is that of the truth of the immortality of soul, right, which never perish, right, which neither listlessness. And he says that our souls have this sight of that immortal sea. So here he is using an allusion to Greek mythology and referring to river Styx, right? And apart from this river Styx, and there are 5 more rivers in Greek mythology. These are known as the River of Forgetfulness, right? Such as River Leith, this Styx, and once he says that once the soul has passed through this river, it forgets everything, and there is a rebirth, right? So brought us hither means we are here on this earth, can I moment travel hither, thither. So in a moment later means after death our souls travel to heaven, right? And then he is saying that, so in this last stanza he is just optimistic approach, and he is optimist, and he said that, then sing ye birds, sing a joyous song, and let the young lambs bound as to taper sound. We in thought will join your song, ye that pipe and ye that play, ye that through your hearts today feel the gladness of Mary. but through the radiance which was once so bright, be now forever taken from my sight. Thou nothing can bring back the hour. Splendor in the grass of glory in the flower will grieve not, rather find the strength in what remains behind, in the primeval sympathy which having been must ever be, in the soothing thoughts that spring out of human suffering, in the faith that looks through the death, in years that bring the philosophical mind, and ye fountains, meadows, hills, groves, forbode not any sovereign of our loves, yet in my heart of heart I feel your might. I only have relinquished one delight, to live beneath your more habitual sway. I love the brooks which down their channels freed, even more than when I strip lightly as they the innocent brightness of newborn day in lovely, yet the clouds that gather round the setting sun do take a sober coloring from an eye that had kept watch over man's mortality. Another race had been, other palms are worn, thanks to human heart by which we live. So here he just says that he's just optimistic about nature, that he says that ye birds sing a joyous song that bring us close to nature, that cherish our soul, right, that bring happiness. And young lambs, the animals, right, lambs, they are not bound, and so the tabor songs of birds, and the drums are sounds of drums, right, are there, should be there, and we in so can join this gathering, this throng, and enjoy nature, right. The pipe refers to flute, so flute is playing, the beautiful sounds and gatherings are there, and through their radiance means the celestial light, which again bring us back to nature, which once were so bright, refers to childhood as well, and through nothing can bring back the hour. So that the childhood is over now, and it cannot be bring back, but still we can enjoy nature, right. Of splendor in the grass and glory in flower will grieve not, will not have to grieve upon that childhood. Then there is still hope, and there is still motivation and spiritful to enjoy nature. Splendor in the grass of glory in flower will grieve not, rather find strength in what remains. So we will not have to grieve or give up, right. What's remain in us will still have that child within us, and will enjoy nature, and the memories remain. He said that we have faith in afterlife, right. Even after the death, the afterlife is coming, which is eternal immortality of soul, and the life in heaven is so beautiful, right. And he just said that rushing to nature, and said, I still feel the nature, there is still the spark left in me through which I can enjoy the nature. And brooks are the small streams. He says that habitual sway. He said that the physical contact he got away from the rural life or nature, and just live in city, which is filled with materialism and industrialism. But still he is a hopeful note to reconnect with the nature, and his sunset here represents death, right. So he says that sun as the watchman of your death. At the sunset the cloud surrounds, and it represents a glorious scene. And then new generation talking about, right. So in these last words he said, thanks to its tenderness, its joy and fears, to me the meanest flower that blows can give thoughts that do often lie too deep for tears, right? These are the symbolic lines, and he just refers to sea tides that are due to the moon, right? The moon is connected with the sea and it gives rise to sea tides, right? And he also refers to Poseidon, who is the god of sea, right? And so he just these are in meanest flowers are the insignificant flowers, right? Give thought that often been deep for tears, right? Just he's glorifying a commonplace objects or a significant flowers, right? And so this is how the poems ends here, and in next video we'll discuss uh, his another poem, that is the world is too much with us. I'll provide you the notes. The link is in the description. Thank you for watching.